First time I got involved with Black Theatre Workshop, actually I auditioned for them and I was turned down. I auditioned for a role, I can't remember what the play was. And I remember the guy auditioning looked at my resume and photo and he said, we actually don't really hire models here. And I was like, you think I could, hey, what? I was kind of complimented and insulted at the same time. Growing up as a young black kid in Ottawa, you know, I always sort of looked for, you know, black theatre community groups to work with and stuff in Ottawa. And there was a book that had a listing of all the theatres in Canada to send resumes and photos to. And then when I saw Black Theatre Workshop, I was like, it's a black theatre. Wow, that's amazing. And that's somebody who, you know, at the time, the major theatres just weren't hiring diverse actors. They just weren't, you know. And so, you know, I mean, I was a very ambitious young actor, but also I wasn't stupid. And I just realized that, you know, as an actor, you have to sort of go to where you think the work might happen for you, where you think you're most likely to work. And so, you know, trying to get a job at the Vancouver Playhouse at that time was highly unlikely. But, you know, the fact that there was a theater that existed that did works of people of color, it was like, oh, so there's a home for me. Oh, okay, that's great. So it was like a light bulb went off. Years ago, before you were born, I had a play that was produced at the Factory Theatre called Riot, which was about the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles and the subsequent Yonge Street riot in Toronto. And I was very fortunate that you know, people seemed to like it, and I got a call from the Black Theatre Workshop to do a production of it, and I was just so happy, and it was just so amazing that I was able to not only work there as an actor, but also work there as a playwright as well. It was really amazing to do the show at the Monument National. That was a really amazing space, and because it has so much history in Montreal, and also you know, the black community in Montreal is one of the oldest black communities in Canada, and so to be welcomed and made a part of that tradition was really humbling. Like still to this day, I feel so grateful and humbled that they've given me an opportunity to have my work done there, not only once with Riot, but also with my show, A Common Man's Guide to Living Women, and with my show, The Ladysmith, as well. You know, they've been a real champion of my work, and I just want to keep writing plays for them, you know. When I wrote Riot, I wrote it, you know, and out of the third draft, it went to production, and I was very fortunate that it was in a state where it could go to production. But also, too, I mean, I think it's really important to give a script the time that it needs to be able to explore it, to get a better understanding of it, to make the changes that's needed so that you present to the audience the best experience possible. I really believe in that. Like, I think, you know, Black Theatre Workshop is a great place to, of course, produce plays, but it's also a great place to explore the way in which we, members of the African Canadian community, tell stories and figure out what our voice is and the best way of accomplishing that. Well, one of the great things, actually, I think has happened is that because there are more voices now, there's a greater diversity of voices in the black community, particularly in theater. One of the things that, of course, happened in the 80s was that because there was very little black theater, there was just a lot of who am I works of art, you know, a work of art that is just there to say, this is who I am. But now there's a real richness and a complexity to the kind of storytelling that's happening now, where it's no longer saying to the world that we exist, but that now we are focused on trying to reflect back the experience of existence that we perceive. And by the very nature of the fact that we've perceived it, makes it a Black Canadian experience.